to our Collective Impact Conversation Workshop. Our Collective Impact Conversation Workshop is geared to bringing our partners together to just talk about the work and the impact of having a collective impact. Here in the Overtown community, we are a community, a small community that's built on history, that's built on culture, that's built on the individuals that are in the community making things happen. So in 2012, a collective impact was created for the Overtown community in order to bring the nonprofit organizations together in order to make sure that services are able to be done collectively. How do you reduce the duplication of services? How do we ensure that where gaps are, we can fill those gaps in, but more importantly, to make sure that our young people and our families in the Overtown community have the opportunity to get a full range of services that will allow them to reach their full potential from the cradle all the way to the career. And then once they reach that career or they reach that milestone where they want to reach academically, how do they now be able to prepare themselves to be successful for a lifetime also? So that collective impact model was created for this community in 2012, and it continues to grow. There are over 40 organizations that are part of the Overtown Collective Impact model. We are now working on a promised neighborhood cradle to career model to bring a true cradle to career model concept into the Overtown community. We're working with our anchoring organizations such as Overtown Youth Center, Touch Alignment with Love, Girl Power, Urgent Inc., Lotus House, Suited for Success. Those are our anchoring organizations. And then we have our partner organizations such as yours organizations that are able and allow us to fill those gaps and provide those services that are needed. So we're excited we're glad that you're here today. We're excited to have this conversation. And this again is going to be a little intimate conversation, but we're going to talk about collective impact, what our purpose is, what our mission is, why do we have a collective impact model here in the Overtown community, and then what is it doing in order to build our young people, to create opportunities for our young people, to ensure that our young people are successful. How do we do that? So what we're going to do, we're just going to come together, sit here in this little circle right here, and we're going to talk. We're going to start off with talking about what is a collective impact. But before we do that, we're going to get started with introductions so everyone can know who's in the room, so we can start, we know who in the room.
I am Dr. Lewis. I'm an associate professor at UM. I'm here representing my own company, which is focused on the soul of medicine, having impact and cultural impact in the community. And my goal is to make sure that we create sustainable changes and bring all the generations together towards these sustainable changes, because the health of the community is the wealth of the community. So that's my focus.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be here. I know we've met virtually, but I always love in person, even if it's two or more. And so I'm Christina Nevares. I'm the Director of Prevention and Education at Christie House, the Children's Advocacy Center. And I'm really here to learn what the community needs. I know that we focus on child sexual abuse, human trafficking, and other trauma prevention. And that's what our team focuses on, is education is prevention. So here to serve. Thank you for setting up.
Hi, everyone. You guys probably all know me pretty well. My name is Ruth Ann Bennett. I proudly serve as the Impact Officer here at OCYC. And I do want to, chime in and just kind of say, success is something that requires collaboration. You guys coming here this morning to talk about how we can align, how we can strengthen efforts means everything to our value and our mission here in Overtown for OCYC. So thank you once again.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kia. I'm currently an intern here with OCYC, working with Ruth Ann and Miss Shakira and Anthony. Looking forward to doing some advocacy and getting some more experience. And yeah, thank you.
No, he's having a mic. Morning, 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 everyone. Marcel Williams. I recently moved back to Overtown. I'm a Overtown native, and I'm a personal coach. So I do a lot of work with a lot of students and young professionals to kind of bring the best out of them. I think what brings me here is the opportunity to help build growth within the community. I think it's coalitions like this that not necessarily put pressure, but put an emphasis to organizations to contribute, to be a part of the conversation, not just by offering opportunity, but also thinking about the educational aspects of it and how to integrate that within their own kind of cultural structures as well. So, yep, sorry. But yeah, glad to be here and see where the conversation goes.
Good day, everyone. Ron Butler, consultant to the MBA Care Project, and the MBA Care Project is a project that is focused in on exposing students to those three major levels of development, which is high school matriculation, college and career prep, and wealth development. And so I'm here to collaborate, coordinate, and to see how we can, of course, mesh these ideas together to produce good, great, wealthy young men and women. So the idea is what? To retire before retirement, right? So that's where we are. All right, thank you.
All right, again, I am Anthony Robinson. I am the Executive Director of the Overtown Children and Youth Coalition. I was born in Overtown, then moved away up to the Miami Gardens area. So it's a pleasure to be back into the community where I was actually born in, to be able to provide opportunity and resources to this community. Overtown is a place that we love. Overtown is a place where history was created. Overtown is the Harlem of the South. Overtown is a place where so many individuals of all cultures were able to get a start. And one of our roles here as the collective impact, one of our purposes is to, how do we make sure that that isn't lost? How do we make sure that those young people that are coming, are growing up in the Overtown community now, how do we make sure that they have opportunities to be successful also? They have opportunities to have options and choices to be able to live, work, and play where they want to. But one of the things we want them to know that this is a community that they could live, work, and play in. This is a community that is going to be safe. This is a community that's going to have the resources that they need in order to be able to raise their family, to be able to grow, to be able to create the next wave of doctors, lawyers, millionaires, billionaires, athletes. This is a community from which can produce that. And that's what we're doing here when we create this collective impact, was to see how do we bring our partners together so that that can happen. The good thing about our conversation today, as I was saying when we started off, is everything happened for a purpose. So when I look around the room now, this is a room, the individuals in here are sort of new to the coalition. We met Dr. Lewis a couple of weeks ago. Chris, we're meeting you now for the first time. Young man, he came about a month ago. And Ron has been coming around for about a year, about 6 months now. He came to our conference. We met Ron not too long ago through Booker T. Washington High School. But that also demonstrates and shows that because of our partnerships, our relationships in the community, individuals are always coming in, that we're able to find out where they fit into this situation. We know and believe that not one entity, one organization, one person can do it all. We know not 2, 3, or 4 individuals or organizations can do it all. It is going to take a collective. It's going to take a group of us coming together in order to ensure that our young people have what they need in order to reach their full potential. And that's what this is about. So we can really get down to be raw about our conversation because everyone is sort of new to the coalition and understanding the work that the coalition does. So I feel good. Like I said, once again, everything happened for a purpose. And this is obviously what was meant today. So the first thing I wanted to ask, again, this is just going to be an open conversation for us to talk, for us to have dialogue with each other, ask any questions that you want to ask, any thoughts you may have as we take notes, because all it does is help us build this collective out. It allows us to see where our gaps are. It allows us to see where we are strong. It allows us to see where there are opportunities to be able to improve. Also allows us to see where there are threats that are coming in so that we know what we need to do to protect the work that we're doing also. So at any time, just please jump in, ask any questions, talk, give any comments, any feedback, so that we can capture the information so that we can then go out and make sure we're doing what our partners are asking so that they can do the work. As the backbone organization that OCYC is, we aren't an organization that does the day-to-day service provider work. We aren't a direct service organization. We are here to make the direct service providers to make their life a lot easier, to eliminate any obstacles, whether it's financial obstacles for funding, where there's finding the partners, to fill in any gaps, where there's bringing in other resources. Our role is to do that as the backbone organization. So we're here to make sure that our partners have what they need. So I want to ask the first question, and that is, when you hear the words collective impact, what does it actually mean to you?
All right, collective impact is, as the words speak to it, those entities and ideas coming together to produce a result, and preferably a positive result. And so in its simple text, that's what I see collective impact as.
I see collective impact as eliminating silos, everybody going in their own lane. We're moving together towards one goal, moving towards one point, and then once we meet that point together collectively, we go to the next level. So everybody moving on the same accord with the same investment on improving the community, as well as the same investment on having an impact in the community, and not just doing it for one time, making sure we have sustainable impact on the community.
I see collective impact as everyone has individual strengths, and also within those strengths is a special gift on how they also execute it. And so that's why I love getting to know one another as a long period of time, because then we get to know what those strengths are. And I love that there's a mission, a collective mission that we all want to work towards. And so I love collective impact and working together to achieve it.
For me, it's doing what it takes, aligned around one common goal, to get that common goal and make it become a reality. So whatever it takes, consistently communicating with each other, aligning efforts, being flexible too. I think sometimes, organizations have their set framework and how they do things. I think it's important to understand that if collectively we're going to forge forward and make an impact, like we have to, just kind of identify where we can tweak, where we can be flexible to get that one goal that we want. Any thoughts?
To me, when I hear collective impact, I think of a community, a group of individuals coming together intently to just knock out goals and do what it is that it takes to keep our community safe, us as people, and just sticking around and sticking together and letting each other know it's okay, we can make it through, and we doing it together. So makes me feel safer in my community when I hear collective impact.
I think when I think about collective impact, I kind of focus on impact in a way of how do we define it, right? And the best way to define it is to get voices from the community, to get that collective, to really be able to get buy-in. Because when you get buy-in, you get people energized about being involved and being engaged. And that engagement is what creates that sustainability of it all as well.
So great feedback and great responses, because when I think of what everyone has just said, it truly are the principles of collective impact. There are 5 principles of collective impact, and they are having a common agenda, constant communication, mutually agreed upon activities, having a data sharing, and then have data sharing, data collecting, and then also having a backbone organization to kind of quarterback it all. And I look back at the responses, it is exactly what everyone has said. And whether it was the voices, the constant communication, whether it's coming together and working together, eliminating silos, that's having that common agenda, aligning our goals, being flexible. So all those things, fit into one of those 5 principles of who we are and what we're doing. And that's what we want to talk about today, a little bit of those 5 principles of collective impact. So when we talk about, let's talk about each one individually. And since we're at the table for constant contacts, let's talk about constant contacts. And give an idea what that is. So Ruth Ann, she is our impact officer here at OCYC, and one of her roles is to facilitate our committees. We have 4 pillars that we focus on. One is accountability. Accountability, that pillar is our data collector, data sharing, evaluation, performance measure committee. And they focus on outlining what those performance measures are going to be, what our data system is going to be, providing evaluations, giving us information back on what's happening in the community, whether it's the graduation rate, the proficiency rates in literacy and numeracy in the community, our young people, what they're experiencing. So collecting all of that data, the demographics and all of that happens on our accountability committee. Then we have our healthy and safe committee. And that committee focuses on the health of individuals, but also the safety within the community. And we're not talking about just safety as far as am I safe from, violence or crime, but am I safe in the environmental way? Is the sidewalk safe, or the parks providing resources and activities that allow me to be safe and healthy? Do we have health initiatives that are going on in the community? Do we have how are we dealing with the food desert that happens within South Florida as a whole now? So that's our healthy and safe committee. Then we have our education and community engagement committee that focuses on the education component here in the community, along with bringing the community out and being involved and engaged in what is taking place in the Overtown community. And then we have our working and productive committee. And our working and productive committee focuses on youth development, youth workforce, and post-secondary educational opportunities, making sure that there is a succession plan for our young people as they go through their academic process. And if you look at those four pillars, you will see how they're all connected, and they're all one. You can't have one without the other. You can't, as Dr. Lewis said, if you don't have health, you can't have wealth. So without the healthy and safety component, that academic, the education component is not there. If you don't have the community engagement component, the healthy and safe committee, that part is not there. If you don't have academics, you can't have the working and productive compete. So you see how all of them are tied together. So Ruth Ann is going to tell you how we use our committees as the platform for our constant communication.
All right, so I think a lot of us knowing each other, we met on some type of a committee. And I realize even hearing from a lot of you partners, there's a lot of overlap between, and it's a connectivity. So like Anthony said, that in itself shows you how you can't have one committee without the other, because each of you brings a skill set or a knowledge base or some type of solid partnership to build out the committee. So I'll start with the first committee that meets in the month. Typically, we have our meetings via Zoom. Today is an exception, of course, because today we usually would have our education and community engagement committee meeting. It's held every third Wednesday, of the month. And instead of meeting online with Zoom today, we decided to come in person and be a part of this collective series. So let's backtrack. So the Productive and Working Committee meets the second Tuesday of the month. The purpose of that committee is to discuss, of course, like he shared, active strategies of how we can elevate our young people. Someone said it earlier, I think it was you, Mr. Butler, making sure that they making money, they can sustain themselves, economic sustainability. How does that work, and what does that look like in terms of the partnerships? It means that within your organization, you may have young people that are in high school or close to that graduation time, and maybe they need an internship opportunity or a job opportunity. These committees come together to talk about, okay, how can we align efforts? Like right now, MBA Care Project through Mr. Butler's organization, they're hosting these wealth wellness sessions to teach young people in the summer, like what is a 401k? How do we save? What's a Roth IRA? What does that mean? So having these meetings, you can now within your organization see what youth can benefit from it and create that exchange. So we create that connectivity and that referral situation. And basically the goal is to help them elevate to what they need to be. The next committee meets on the third Wednesday of the month, which is the Education and Community Engagement Committee. And this committee in particular is very near and dear. Why? Because a lot of the partners that are a part of this committee are like our principals for our local schools. So the Phyllis Wheatleys, the Frederick Douglass. I know we heard Phyllis Wheatley actually closed down, but I hear there's talks about some possibility in the future of revitalizing that place. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So now a lot of those kids are shifting to Frederick and Paul L. Dunbar. So it means having those principals in the room. We have one high school in Overtown, Booker T. Washington. And so we have to, as committee members, come together to kind of focus. I would say on heavily, we start with the elementary, but it's near and dear to us to make sure Booker T is good, because that's the final straw, I would say, in the education piece here in Overtown before the college, before they transition to another level. And it's coming together to support whatever initiatives that they have going on within the schools. It's working with organizations like Flat Organization that will go in and provide certain tangible skill sets, teach these kids how to, be customer service ready for certain industries, providing those like programming. And I remember when there was a transition with leadership over there, and we would go in and we would incentivize the students to come to school because attendance was dropping, and we know how that works in the public school framework. If attendance is dropping, schools are shutting down. And so as a coalition, we said, okay, we got to find a way to incentivize these kids. We would do like a laptop scholarship give back to make sure that, hey, you're coming to class, you're getting a free laptop. So it's coming up with with specific ways to target those students and making sure that they are developing, they're building career, they're getting locked into internships. We're getting partners on board, for example, like Brightline and major organizations that can provide those internship opportunities. So it's aligning everything in that particular committee, and that's kind of how we roll. Then we have the Healthy and Safe Committee. That meets the last Wednesday of the month. And like you mentioned, Dr. Lewis, if we're not healthy, that's where it starts. So I can remember our last meeting, we had Run 305 Club on there. That's a very good health fitness organization that has started up here in Overtown. We have Drew Fit. Like, we have people fundamentally that are at parks in our community that host fitness sessions on a weekly basis. And we're able to talk about the wins from those sessions. We're able to create like an impact report because people are coming from the community and getting people galvanized. We talk about like our Overtown Farm, which is right here as a staple in the community that Chef Chris, who is over that, she kind of shows people how to pull from the ground, put it on the table, get it cleaned up, and cook. And Ashley from Eat Well Exchange works hand in hand with her, and they do some type of programming around that. And so it's knowing that that's there, it's readily available to the community, and we're actively having sessions, whether it's with kids to show them how to prepare healthy meals, or having even conversations with adults, how to eat healthier. And that particular committee we have our committee chair, Dr. Dudley Jackson, that hosts that committee. And like I said, it's the last Wednesday of each month. So the goal is to improve physical as well as mental. So let's not forget the mental piece. We have the Bereavement Center, Children Bereavement Center, which is actively, they're in this building, actually on this floor. They provide services to our kids to help keep their minds, healthy. Because without the mind being healthy, the body, everything else goes haywire. So we feel like that's an important piece. And then, of course, the last and foundational, I would say this is a foundational piece, that accountability committee meets the fourth Monday of the month. And the purpose of that committee, it's one of the collective impact bullet points, the data sharing component. It's heavy. If we don't have data from each of what we're doing in each of these committees, we cannot tell the story. We cannot show that, yes, this is being done. So we've been very intentional. I went through with my strategic data research analyst to say, okay, every action item from every committee, we're gonna break it down to the point where we're monitoring the data. And what we need is the buy-in, like you said, Marcel, from our community partners, our organizations that are here, to say, okay, yes, this is our goal, and let's say we're doing one particular initiative. Okay, we will provide this data, or this is our data, this is our means of collecting data, and we are going to share that data with you so we can align and show truly how this particular initiative is making an impact. And so that accountability committee is very critical. We talk about measures, indicators, and we basically establish, just like a continuum of ecosystem to ensure that we are collecting and doing what we need to do so that it can truly reflect who we say we are, what we're about, and that's it. All right. Any questions on the committees?
How do we join?
Okay, I'm on the site right now. So literally, I'm on the site right now.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And we recently revitalized our social media page.
Oh, cool.
So once you go to that homepage, which is overtowncyc.org, there's a tab right there. It says Get Involved. The first bullet point, it says Join a Committee. And it breaks down each committee in detail, right? And then you go ahead and you can literally, at the bottom of the page, input your information, your email address, and indicate the committees you wish to be a part of.
Got it.
And
Okay.
that's it.
And then I can click.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want, I can send this to you directly right now, Chris.
Yeah, joining, yeah, the committees are, again, way we consistently communicate and stay engaged and know what's going on. It happens in our committees, where it allows everyone to be able to, I got it right here, where be able to, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I didn't see it, that's why.
where it allows our
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
allow the communication to continue to take place in our committee. So those things are very important, and it is exactly why we created the committees to fill one of the principles of our of what a collective impact is. So our next principle we're going to want to talk a little bit about is a common agenda. And our common agenda here is, it really is our mission. And our mission here is Overtown Children Youth Coalition will serve as the backbone organization to ensure that the young people, the families, have the resources they need to reach their full potential. It's just that simple. And all of the organizations that are part of the coalition are committed to that. And so that's is our common mission. Our common agenda is, how do we make sure that the resources are available for the youth, the children, and their families to reach their full potential. And as Ruth talked about, a lot of the different organizations, our different partners here, that's how it happens through our partners. And we have been working now, sorry about that. We have been working now through a cradle to career model approach to make sure that happens also. So utilizing the birth, pre-birth actually, from pre-birth all the way to a young person graduates from a post-secondary training program. And how do we make sure along that way, each step of the way, they have support, they have resources, they have what they need in order to get there. So if it's academic support, if it's family case management support, if it's transportation, if it's health, if it's wellness, if it's food, if it's from college readiness, college readiness, career readiness, all and anything in between. And that's where, again, we say our partners come in to fill those gaps. Understanding what we have. So our anchoring organizations like Overtown Youth Center, Touch by with Love, Girl Power, provides foundational services. But then how do we bring in partners such as NBA Care to provide that financial literacy that allows our young people to understand truly how to build financial stability. But at the same time, how to be able to, as you're going off to that post-secondary education training program, how to maximize your time and your resources while you're in there, while you're away, which is what his program does. Or if it's our STEM program with Do Good for One, how do we ensure that our young people are understanding what technology is and where technology can take them, and how it's going to be beneficial to them to understand those foundations of technology. Or whether it's our program with, we call it Barbershop Speaks with Jefferson Noel, which provides leadership and mentorship to our young people. And we do it that way so that our organizations don't have to take their resources to find those services to be provided. As Overtown Youth Center are providing after-school programming and family support services, where there are gaps, we fill in those gaps with those resources, such as those organizations that we just listed across the continuum. And that's how we come up with that common agenda. And then how do we make sure that we have everything we need so that agenda is being fulfilled? So that's how that works. So when it comes to, we're talking with Dr. Lewis, had a nice call with her, of that health component and understanding that importance of taking care of your body, your mind, and your soul at a young age, so that when you become older, you will still be able to function and operate in a way that allows you to still feel healthy when you're 50, 60, 70 years old and not thinking, you may be old in age, but you're still young in your mind, body, and soul. We definitely want to, figure out other ways of how to work with Christie House and make sure that they are part of the program and what we're doing here, that they become a part of the agenda also with the services that they provide. And then just having partners of individuals who are just stakeholders in the Overtown community, and how do they help fill those gaps? And those gaps can be filled with just being a part of a committee and offering advice, making recommendations, suggestions, or through their line of work that we may even think of. May say, I know this guy who is, a hedge fund manager, and now we can bring resources in. Or I know this person who, is in the construction field, and we can. I've just been blown away as I see them put these sections up. Right. Yeah. So, but how do we? But someone may have those connections, because as I look and as we look at that, they literally just put that one section up, the little piece right there, not too long ago. That's a real skill, that probably pays six figures. That I know pays six figures.
The engineer had to do
Right. And then the individuals that are up there doing the work, how do, a person may come in, but they know I have relationships or contact with that construction company or that engineering company that we can connect our young people to. Because often what we also have learned in this community is often it's because of lack of knowledge on why they aren't accomplishing the things that they are accomplishing. It's not drive, it's not, ability. They just didn't know. Because even when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, I would have never thought about a career. I thought construction work was just, you just lay some bricks and that was it, but not knowing how so much goes into that. And if we expose our young people to opportunities, one thing I have learned about this community, working in this community and being born in this community is, if you provide them the opportunity and the resources, they will flourish and be great in there. We did our youth conference. This goes into another part of we talk about our common agenda and mutually agreed upon activities. We have a youth conference we do every year called I'm the Boss of My Life Youth Conference. So we just finished the 7th year of our conference. Mr. Butler, we were always there this year. This year we had over 500 kids attend our youth conference. When we started 7 years ago, it was 40 kids, and now we're at 500 kids. We've literally outgrown every hotel in Miami-Dade County to host this event, because the event is, one, we want to do it in a way we're exposing our young people. So we would do it at a hotel, like this year we did it at the Marriott Bayshore Drive. We've been at the Intercontinental, we've done FIU Colvin Center. So we put it in an environment where our young people can feel good about themselves and feel good who they are, and expose them to that. And each year it continues to grow. And with over 500 young people being there today, they've got opportunity to go through breakout sessions, to talk to individuals who are in the media space, individuals that are pharmaceuticals reps and in that space, and talk with their 10 different careers that we had there. And they got a chance to really hear about careers that are uncommon to them. We didn't have a doctor. We had one of the breakout sessions was on medical, but we didn't want to have a medical doctor there, because we hear about medical doctors all the time, but what are those other careers that are associated with the medical field? So we had pharmaceutical reps there, the pharmacists there to talk about those type of careers. And our young people walked away truly like, wow, I didn't know these things are possible or even options for them to be able to accomplish. So those mutually agreed upon activities or lead towards our young people being able to understand and realize who they can be and who they can become. So we're excited about that. Our biggest thing that that we are most proud of is the data, our accountability, our data collecting and data sharing, that component of the collective impact approach. As Ruth Ann was saying earlier, without the data, you can't tell the story. Without the data, no one knows what you're doing. You don't know what impact you're having. You don't know if anything is taking place or anything is occurring. So our being able to collect data, being able to create a data-based ecosystem is something we're truly working on right now. We're really putting a lot of effort and resources into building out a system to support the entire Overtown community across the entire spectrum, from the cradle to career. How do we create but creating that data system that captures all that information to tell that story. So I know there's a lot of experts in here right now. Chris Simons just came in, who was our principal at one of our elementary schools here in the community. Let him introduce himself. And then let's talk a little bit about what that data looks like, or what data would we like to collect, or what data we would like to share, you would like to see collected, so that we can ensure that the system that we are looking and ready to build out becomes something that really encompasses what this ecosystem is. So we're going to start with our visitor here first, and then we're going to come to Principal Simons.
Welcome, Corinne.
I'm Corinne. I'm the RN for Care for You Community Health Center. So I'm downstairs on the first floor. And yeah, so we're opening up right now a clinic on August 8th. It's going to be on the first floor at Lotus House. So yeah.
Yeah. Lots of collaboration options.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Not that you need it.
Nah. So Christopher Simmons, been working with Care Elementary School now. We're going in year 12, 13 overall existence, helping kids, underprivileged kids in Overtown whose median household income under $25,000 a year. Test scores at its highest, standardized test, 93% now has passed that achievement benchmark, and 96 in math. So now we're opening up school number 2 in Little Haiti. So we have 2 schools now.
Good. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So, yeah, so real excited about the work that Care Elementary School is doing, and the impact that they're having on those young people, especially when it comes to literacy. To see literacy, to walk over there and to see kindergartners reading books, not remembering books, they're actually reading books, is amazing to see them, what they're doing and what they're doing over there. So that is the data we need to collect. We want to talk about what data would you all, if you had a crystal ball and say, I need this, what do you all think that would look like, a data system would look like, as far as its collection, its abilities? What would that look like? What do y'all think? What would y'all want?
Well, for me, I think the first piece of data that I would definitely want to see is what those students, those participants, what they actually know. So for example, in its simplest terms, I may ask kids, okay, do you know what a Roth IRA is? It's important to know that type of data, of what you know, then I can regurgitate that information to you, okay? All right, so it's really that hardcore knowledge of what the child knows versus test data and different things like that. I think that hardcore specific knowledge of what someone knows is terribly important.
I would say in terms of data, I'm going back to this word impacts. I think that's the one thing that can help people see where they're going. And so I think the piece of data that I would most like to see is where are our young adults transitioning to? What organizations are they going to? What organizations are they creating themselves? What is the change in their financial impacts? Like, where are they going? Because being able to see that statistic allows us to say, hey, we know these types of organizations are about the community. How do we build partnerships with those? How do we build pipelines so that other students who are thinking about or may not necessarily know where they want to go, they have avenues now because they've seen people within their community succeed in those areas. I think pathways and creating those types of pathways helps individuals see those things. But the only way to do that is to show where those individuals are going so you can collect that data to see where those pockets of opportunity are for people within the community.
Data that I would like to know is, do the youth of this community know their family health history? Do they know about strategies to keep themselves healthy? Do they know about different ways to keep their brain healthy, which can help reduce Alzheimer's and things like that? What does health look like for them? And what is important for them?
Sure. For me, I'm just coming from a health and safety perspective. When it comes to emotional and mental well-being, seeing where they're starting from, how are they regulating themselves when it comes to anger, self-esteem, grief. There's all these foundational topics, I would say, that encompass well-being emotionally and mentally, and where they are after they've been educated. And so there's evidence-based curriculums that we can implement in the schools, in age-appropriate ways where we're seeing where they are. And a prime example can be, who is a safe adult in your life where you're able to talk to if something is happening, and communicate. I keep hearing communication, I keep hearing listening to what they need, educating and where they are next, where they can implement those educational strategies so that they can keep themselves safe and healthy. And again, I'm seeing it from emotional and then also mental as well.
Okay. So I think for me, it's a lot of facets here. Data is primarily the leading factor of what we like to do. We start with that, demographics, household incomes, whatnot. I think OIC does a great job as well of tracking. But I think where we fall short as leaders in the community is knowing the plans of the city, the data of the developers. They're coming in and they're doing what they want to do, and we're trying to figure it out instead of being very knowledgeable of what they're required to do in terms of philanthropic efforts, in terms of learning facilities that's attached to the building project. I think the CRA could do a better job of informing us, having informational sessions to know what are the plans, because gentrification is truly happening. I mean, this is off record, so I'll put the mic down. But Little Haiti, what we're seeing with the TPS removal, obviously you put ice on it, but it begs to differ. Let's be cynical thinking. You got Wynwood, you got Brickell Wynwood Design District, Little Mimo District. Then you've got Little Haiti interfering before Miami Shores. And I look at this as a direct line of get them out. Take the properties and keep Northeast 2nd Avenue clean. Could be wrong. What are their plans? That's all I want to know. Like, they have a plan. They know exactly what they're doing. When they set stuff up in nasty neighborhoods, and you wonder, why would they put that beautiful thing right there? Because they know, oh, something, this whole place is about to get gone. And I know what I'm talking about because the school, with the Miami Rescue Mission, the homeless shelter, they've been want us out. They're trying to get us out because that doesn't fit the mode of what's on that street. Homelessness? No, right? So I think that's the data that I would like, more information from our city officials with regards to development plans and the required responsibility to pour back into the community that they're taking from.
Right. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
I know it's
And
hard
not-
task for you to
Anthony's
get.
laughing.
And not, well, but here's the
Like
thing,
how?
not the plans as they're developing.
Right.
The plans, it's now 2026. What are the plans, because they've already done for 2036.
Correct.
What are the plans for 2036 to 2046?
See, what that does for us is gets the kids ready for the plans. We know that this location is going to have the following. You know, like when FIFA came, if we knew a lot of that before, you could start preparing people, but only certain people knew what was coming. We find out and then everything's gone. It's too late, you know, because the plan was already in place a decade ago.
Exactly.
So what he's saying is absolutely right. You want to keep the kids in the community to become representatives of where they grew up and hold those jobs, hold all of the territory, because it belongs to them, but it's being taken from them because they're not qualified, blah, blah, blah. But it's really because they just don't know. They're qualified.
Right.
Yeah.
They can go toe to toe with anybody, but they just don't have the opportunity.
Then it helps with, even at the secondary level, it helps with career development. Because if you know 20 years from now, they're going to be putting a data center
Correct.
in your community, two things you need to do. Health-wise, you need to begin to address it. Okay? Then secondly, cost factor-wise, real estate-wise, you can begin to build coalitions, financial pieces to level off the affordability. Because I'm almost certain that if certain people would have known that this was going to happen in Overtown 20 years ago, they could have
Correct.
probably put their ducats
Ducats.
together and say, you know what, let's get $5 million
Yeah.
together to build a complex over here.
You would have
in terms of
invested.
property.
Look, what you did with the group at the corner, that's future thinking.
Yeah.
Something's coming, I want to be a part. You get it low because it's going to boom.
Correct.
But we get it, the information, when it's too late and too expensive and unaffordable.
So how do we eliminate the gatekeeping?
To me, a guy like him,
Just
well, gatekeeping will always happen.
yes, 'cause
But
it's- yeah.
a guy like him who's representing the community needs a seat at tables
Yes, correct.
to be able to have some form of input and voice. Because at the end of the day, our directors, and I love Mr. McQueen and everything that they're trying to do, but there's still a different, initiative there versus his initiative to truly read with the kids, sit on the carpet, get in the books, like there's difference there. And the other guys are just more so, yeah, we're gonna build a housing complex and whatnot. They wanna build, but who's filling the jobs?
Correct. Because there's a benefit to limiting the information.
Correct.
Because you can then keep it within your own group and, whether it's bidding, whether it's grants, or
Correct.
even volunteering for FIFA. I remember I got a student connected through another person, the opportunity to volunteer just for one day. But the amount of hurdles
To get
to
through.
just get that one day
Right.
to volunteer. It was just amazing. And then you see all these other volunteers, oh yeah, we found out about this 2 years ago, and da 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 da. It's something that collectively as a group
Correct.
can get eaten away piece by piece.
And I
but if it's
learned-
one person only, that's why I think this is even more impactful because it's a group saying this matters.
Exactly. I learned when they were constructing the 836, making the renovations,
Yeah.
before this bridge. Odebrecht Construction was that construction company. This is 10 years ago. And they told Marty and I, we're required to. And so we heard about you, we realized that you were in Coral Gables. This is my partner. Coral Gables, you know, she's you know, Caucasian and all that stuff, not realizing it was coming to Overtown.
Right.
So it was like, it is what it is, we're gonna help, and you know, they did what they gotta do, but it just made my eyebrow wonder, like, so they like to kind of pick and choose, you know, which organization or whatever they're gonna help, but not the knowledge about it is where, to me, is key, so that we can kind of have a seat and a voice at every one of these junctures to be able to be heard on our behalf.
Yeah. But I think the other factor to that too is, as a collective, the collective needs to begin to be the gatekeepers. So what do I mean by that? Not to the extent of making it, you know, detrimental to others, but making it beneficial for you. So if we as collective right here says that we need to get together, we need a school, we need a health center, we need financial backing, you know, developmental backing, and we can maybe lead into a certain, you know, thought process. Like, there's a pasture over here of 12 acres. Why don't
That's
we?
it.
Why don't we go and get a school?
We can't.
Why don't we get the
we don't
financial
know.
backing?
So I asked myself, and Ruth, I was going to put this question on you, Ruth, before she walked away. Success Academy. You've heard of it? You've heard of this school coming here
No.
from Harvard?
Yeah. I know, because
yes,
I'm a
yes.
graduate of Miami Jackson.
Yes.
So
I
they're
know.
coming from New York. How is it that they've gobbled up all of these charter school locations? They got Ken Griffith behind them pouring $40 million and Governor DeSantis himself. It's just a hierarchy of information, right? And what do? We hear about it, you know, but it's at the stage where it's too late. It's not even like we can make a bid to say, hey, now we're just finding out about it.
Right.
And so we're forced to say, okay, like what I'm doing, I'm opening up another school. We're gonna go toe to toe with you guys. Like we're not running away and running from the fight. We're gonna fight with you. But I would have preferred to fight for the bid.
Yes.
Like I've been trying to get with Ken Griffin for I don't know how long.
Right.
I would have preferred to fight for the bid. I think I could have outbid them. Just me, you know. But we don't get the chance.
And that's where, to me, we talk about data. Data allows us to be able to strategically plan where we are and what we need to be doing. Whether it lets us know where we are today, lets us know where we can be and where we will be tomorrow. It's through the data. I think, and so I love the feedback of what we're hearing because it does allow us to know, Ruthann, that this is going to inform how we're going to move forward, and what we need to put in this ecosystem and why. You know, oftentimes, you know, people would have told us, I want demographics, I want this, I want that, I want that. But now hearing the conversation today, it lets us know why we need to have what we need to have. And, you know, I've always believed in this, understanding the why is more important than the how and the what. We all know how to do what we do. We all know what we're doing. But when you understand the why, it allows you to have a foundation that you won't veer away from. So now that what you all have shared today gives us the why we need this data, and why we need the data that we do need, so that we can use that to help with the future, you know, help with our strategic plan. You know, what we've just created our second integration of our master plan. I want everyone to leave with one today. And it talks about what our strategies are here in Overtown, and how we're going to move forward, utilizing that cradle to career model concept. I think she's going to get a couple of more, so that you all can, a couple more that you all can utilize, go through also. But again, it tells, you know, where we've been. Our first 10-year plan was what we wanted to do. and it talks about, but now our second plan talks about what we've done in the first 10 years, and then where we want to move forward those next 10 years. So again, having these conversations and having these type of gatherings right here allows us to hit that feedback from you all, and then to make sure that it's aligning with what's in this master plan, so that we can be able to ensure that, you know, in 2035, if there's something that's available, we understand where it is now. So come 2035, we're able to say we have control of that, or we're able to gain ownership of that, to be able to allow our young people to see that in this community, as I started off with, you can live, work, and play here. This is not something that you're going to be outpriced from, because you have the education. You already have the most important part they already have, and that's that thing within them, that skill within them. But now, how do we make sure we bring that out so that they can understand how to use it moving forward? Oftentimes, that what happen is they have it, but no one has associated with something. You know, I didn't know. I mean, I remember growing up, I didn't know I was an engineer growing up. You know, we used to ride our bicycles and jump garbage cans. You know, so we had to build ramps to jump these trash cans. Right. And, you know, we were like, no, back that up a little bit. Now add another brick. Now that brick too high. Get this rock. That's gonna be just enough. Now back up a little further. Nope, that's too far. You're not gonna have you're gonna be tired by the time you get to the ramp. Yeah. Go back here, and now get that speed in your jump. All engineering. No one ever told me that. If I would have known that, I mean, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be here talking to you all today. There's some other things.
You may have, because now
you're right.
Now you have an engineering company, but you have time
building
to
the
come
bridge.
Right. I've been building this highway out here, right?
The work doesn't work, but you were able to talk.
We come and do this, have these conversations
About
here.
a whole different organization. Right?
Yes.
So they have it in them. It's now, how do we, by knowing the plans, we're now able to prepare them to bring it out of them to be able to do what they're here to do.
That's the key, because we're preparing them for their parent to kind of figure it out for them after.
Right.
Yes.
And the parent doesn't even have the high school diploma.
No.
Correct.
What's the plan?
Right.
Yeah.
Instead, we should be saying, like seed school, where, hey, after here, here's where you're gonna go. You know, like we're gonna hand pick the right school for you.
Yes.
Like it's stuff like that. You know, like this is the career paths that we think should line up with your skill set. And we have a organization that we partner with, Cristo Ray, you know, that says, hey, we're gonna go ahead and send them here for a work-study program, and now they're starting to gain hours and experience, but it all requires the end game. So we should be working backwards instead of trying to work forwards to an end game that we have no clue what it is, and we find it out with the rest of them on the news.
Correct.
You're right.
Identifying those pathways.
Yeah, we work, like you say, especially in education. We're still working in an agrarian model. And what I mean by the agrarian model is agriculturally, you start in August and, you know, you kind of work from that angle. Where you gotta have the kids available in the summertime to do all the seed planting. So that's why it's you know. Right. So we need to change that. Like he said, what's the end goal? If the end goal is to develop engineers, if the end goal is to develop financial wealth, show them what that is, and then say, okay, let's work towards that. I've always thought as an educator, and I'm a former teacher, I'm okay with giving my kids the answers. Because I'm gonna give you the answers. However, now let's work towards how we got that answer. In certain situations.
2 points for the workings, 1
You
point
know?
for the ends.
You know, yeah,
Say it again.
you know,
2 points for the workings, 1 point for the ends.
right. Okay, here's the answer.
Yes.
All right. Now that you know the answer, how can we build towards
Because you can fail the test, you know, having all the right answers, but you didn't know the process. of how to get
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
Because the Bible is the answers, and we still fail.
Exactly.
Every day.
So we can have the answer, but if
Exactly.
we ain't working towards the process, we're still failing.
Exactly.
Faith
And
without
that,
work is dead.
and that's ultimately what it is, right? Because
Daily.
you can say, okay, you can be an engineer, but then that child is looking at that like, yeah, I can be an engineer, but I don't know how to be an engineer. You know? So let's help that child get to that process, because if you want this child to be an engineer, you got to show them how to start getting scholarships as early as 6th grade. You know?
And the strengths and the skill sets that they
Yes.
have, that's more vocational.
Exactly.
Because that's what's going to position them.
Right.
Because any place that builds something, it's like an epicenter with multiple things. There might be a movie theater, there might be a restaurant, and then there's a Top Golf, and then there's a so now you're like, okay, these are the jobs that are coming.
Correct.
And now we know what you like to do, what your strength is, and we think you could be the manager at that place over there, and then work your way. You see what I'm saying? So now you're pretty much like, oh shoot, this is an attainable situation. Like I could see it coming, and I have a plan to get there. But when we tell you kids, do this, do this, do this, you're really kind of like looking behind, like, well, who else has done it?
Yes.
I don't know. So
Correct.
is there a reality that this can really happen? And then life hits, and then you start working. And then that hourly job says it's meeting my needs, and I'm gonna pause school because I don't have time for that. I need to go. Meanwhile, the person writing your check, that's the problem. You ain't writing it.
But it's
Yeah.
also working on resiliency, that they can persevere and to believe in themselves towards moving towards a goal. Because a lot of times, many of us didn't really see what we were doing. We know we were going somewhere.
Correct.
But we could not even imagine the impact and our imprint. You know what I mean? But the resiliency is inside of them to then say, I can do it. I can do it. And it's not just only about I'm gonna be the first. It's about this is what I wanna do and nothing's gonna stop me from getting to that
So
point.
Director Robinson, this right here, you have at least 10, that are homegrown Overtown gems that would back you, stand with you. We want him to know it. So we're not asking for us to know it.
Right.
We're just asking for our representative to know it so that he can pour back into us and give us ideas as to how we can better prepare our kids. So we're your arms, right, to get the work done. Somebody just got to know what's happening.
Yeah.
True.
So even if you go with a letter or petition on behalf of these organizations,
Correct.
they are demanding that I get from you
Correct.
this.
What's the plan for 2046?
Yeah.
Because again, like we said, 2035 is already done.
Already done.
So what's the plan for 20? Because see, this here, they didn't think this up 5 years ago.
Right, it was about 15 years ago.
These buildings around here wasn't thought about 5 years ago.
Like I heard with my AI course, AI didn't just jump on the scene. It's been around since like 2005 in beta
Correct.
testing. Like it's getting unleashed now, but it's been around.
There is something about Miami that's happening that granted, we already know what. Miami Beach is not going to be Miami Beach in the next 20 years, right? Because everybody's going to come off the beach. It's going to be an island, and everybody's going to be in Liberty City, Little
But that's
Haiti,
where they want.
everything, because we know that's all the elevation, right? But what is that going to look like for everyone, you know, in 2046? And I think, if anything, we can say, like you say with your document, great document, and our thinking right now is, let's not think about what we can do for the kids now. We already doing that. Let's start thinking about 2046. So how am I able to build a financial structure for 2046? How am I able to build, an educational structure for 2046?
Like a beacon.
Yes.
Now I love the ethnic background. Hispanics to me are like the struggle that we have to go through. They go through the same thing. So please keep that as a common denominator when I say this. But when you think Overtown, what ethnic do you think resides here?
African American.
Okay, now look at this. Because this isn't saying that.
Almost halfway.
Almost. It says Hispanic.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah. No, it is.
That's what this says. Basically, it says African and Black, African American, 35%.
Yeah, they're gone.
So that's what the problem is. They don't see the hope staying here, which is a part of the big plan. Like, let them exile themselves, right? And then we then put what we need to do. And the reason why they're leaving is because they don't see or know or understand what's supposed to be coming. I never thought this. I thought it'd be the other way around.
Oh, I did, because when I look at demographics of schools, I taught at Booker T Middle. That was my first job. The predominant number of students were African American. I go to Booker T now, and the predominant number of students is Hispanic. I'm a graduate of Miami Jackson. Before Booker T became a high school, the kids from Overtown had to go to 3 different schools: Beach, Miami High, and Miami Jackson. Miami Jackson was predominantly a black school. Miami Jackson now is predominantly a Hispanic school. As he said, respectfully, because I'm the same vein.
You guys, they share the
The
same
diaspora, the diaspora is the diaspora. I don't care what you can say whatever you want to say. The diaspora is the diaspora. So you could be from Cuba, Brazil, Haiti, Jamaica, America.
Venezuela, don't matter.
It's all the diaspora, right? And I always laugh when Hispanics and blacks be at odds.
Right.
It's funny because you're at odds with your own brothers and sisters,
No, fair.
right?
Same thing.
You're at odds with your brothers and sisters.
That's created for a reason.
It's
'Cause
funny.
If everyone
absolutely.
collaborates together. it's-
Correct.
Absolutely.
it's a
And
force
so
to reckon with.
even for
Everybody coming
Overtown,
together.
and here's the thing we got to keep in mind, right? Even for Overtown, as it is, maybe transitioning from one ethnicity to the other or whatever, that doesn't mean we give up on the aspect of making certain that the full population is serviced. Because every rich person is not going to be in Overtown. There's still going to be students that need services that may be of a certain economic viability. So that's why that's important. But the thing to that is, how can you balance that number back out? And it's going to be in the idea of affordability.
Yep.
So if the black person who grew up in Overtown or the Hispanic person with low economics who grew up in Overtown understands that once I can gain economic viability, I don't have to leave my neighborhood. The goal set here, and Brother Robinson has spoken on it, I mean, maybe subtly, but the overriding goal here is how can we keep the residents of Overtown in Overtown?
And he just nailed it with the affordability.
Yeah.
Because isn't it the dream to live close to where you work? Isn't that like the dream for any adult? If you don't have to drive far to go to your church, to go to your school, or to go to your job, and you're in your stone's throw, life is that much smoother. Low commute. But our people are coming to live in Pembroke Pines just to be able to get down here, right? To work down here because they can't afford it to live and work and play where this location is. So that is a big factor as well. And that's part of the system to me to keep us out because they have plans.
Yeah.
It's not nobody about being racist. That's not what I said. It's because they have plans. And their plans require money and people to invest into it. So if we had it to invest it, they would want us to. But then they look at our median household incomes like that's not enough for them to carry the bill as to what we're about to put here. So we
this-
need to bring the right people.
And so this again, it goes back to how we started this conversation, and I appreciate all the feedback because again, it's definitely going to give us, the foundation we need even more in supporting why data is important. Again, this is not data just about performance measure data, but data to tell the story of what's happening, what's going on, and what will be going on. So we having that information of, what the plans are and what's being invested in. Also it then allows our young people to know what's behind door number 2 and not having to say, well, you know, I'm gonna play it safe and just sit over here in the corner and allow everybody else to do what they're doing. Now young people have other opportunities. And it also helps in leveling the playing field.
And what does that do for the I'm the Boss of My Life conference for you? Think about that.
Right.
The knowledge that you had for that one conference is going to change everything.
Right. So it levels that, it levels the playing field a little more also. Where now, because that young person at Booker T. Washington High School knows what the future holds, he or she now knows what they can do.
There you go. There you go.
And be able to prepare for that.
There you go.
So again, this is great information that we've learned. And this is what that consistent conversation is about. Having these conversations are geared for that, for talking heads to come and just talk. And then through talking, you know, we started off one place and we ended up here, but we ended up here because this is where we were supposed to be. In understanding what is needed to tell this story. And again, this wouldn't happen with 30 people in the room.
Right.
It happened with the 8 of us in here intentionally. So now that we can go back and put this together, work with our partners, work with the committee. So now Ruth Ann can take this information back and now tell the Healthy and Safe Committee, okay, we need this type of information. And now I can tell the Working and Productive Committee, okay, we got to get these plans and these things together. And tell the education, the community engagement committee, we need things, this what we need from you all, those assessments, why these assessments are important and why this information is important. And then the accountability committee could come and then aggregate all of that stuff and then be able to not just put out a master plan, but now we're able to put out just impact reports on various different things that are happening across the community. And then what that also does, then it then informs those developers, it informs our elected officials, it informs the Kenny Griffey's and them of the world that, oh, we have to sit and talk with them because they understand what's going on, they have the numbers of what's going on, they have not just their hand on the pulse of the community, they are the pulse of the community. And you gotta come and have those conversations with us. So,
And it creates a greater level of accountability for those who come into the neighborhood.
That's it.
right, they know they got
Like you said, you speak of Success Academy. If you're gonna come in under whatever pretenses, we're gonna make you accountable.
You don't just get to walk in and set up shop how you want to set up shop, right?
Right, but that's what they're doing.
And that's the true foundation of why the coalition was started in 2012 was because of that. Outside organizations had money, they had the grants, they would come in and say, okay, Ron, I'm gonna fund your program, I want you to use your kids for your program. Provide the services. When that money ran out, they left. So it left Ron now trying to figure out, because his kids were used to a certain thing, now he has to figure out how I keep this up, how I provide this without those resources to make it happen. So thus, the coalition was started as a way of the organizations coming together and say, well, we will go after funding together to support each other, to be able to go after those monies so that we can support the Ron's program. And even if the money run out, we're still here and can still provide those services collectively. So if I can't provide it, but CARE has a facility, we can move over to CARE. And if CARE doesn't have it, we can now go over to Christie House and we can stay together and services may drop a little bit, but can continue to happen, and we can continue to show our resilience, continue to show to our young people that if you stay focused, and if you keep moving along this path, you too can also be successful also. So this is great information today. There are gonna be some action items that we wanna take away from today. One is everyone join the committee, be a part of the committee. Ruth Ann, share with you all a little bit of what that is. We also going to have some follow-up on identifying what role each of you all can play along this continuing pipeline, utilizing that cradle to career model. So we're going to send out Shakira, who has everyone the information. So she's going to send out to you all what our pipeline looks like from cradle to career. And then you all can provide some insight on where your organization fits along that pipeline. There could be multiple areas. Don't think it has to fit into one bucket. If you fit into early childhood, if you fit into prenatal care, and you fit into post-secondary educational training, please let us know those things so then we can be able to see, again, where there are gaps, where there are overflows, where there are opportunities, and then also where there are threats. So that's who we are today. So any feedback, any thoughts, any thoughts?
Great conversation.
This was amazing. This was very impactful. Very
Talking about certain things.
very informative.
I mean, it was excellent because you got more work to do than us.
It always. That's the only thing that I do say it every time we walk away from these conversations. Like,
You had a meeting.
right? Why did I do this? Why did I do this again? Why I keep doing this to myself?
Right.
It reminds me when in high school when I played football, right? In high school, and all the running and all the physicality stuff we did. You know, when I played in high school, we did 3 days, especially during the summertime. In the summer, it was 3 days. You know, 8 o'clock in the morning, you at 12 o'clock, and then you were back again on the field at 3 o'clock. And we would ask ourselves, what? We volunteer for this? So, but I guess it what prepares me to do this work now. I keep having these meetings, and I'm like, volunteer for more work? But we enjoy it, we appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback, but more importantly, I'm thankful that our partners, such as you all, trust the organization, believe in the organization, and know that the work that this organization is doing is truly for the community and for everyone. This is not anything that's self-centered. I know these two gentlemen I've worked with for a little bit, they have seen us and they keep coming back, so I guess we're doing something right.
No, but if you think about it, right now it's more work for you, right? Mm-hmm. But the ultimate goal to me is you continuing to funnel these organizations in this book the information that we need to attack, and that's it. Like OCYC can just say, I'm feeding the knowledge. I'm not planning the events anymore. I'm not doing any of this. You guys are, because I've finally given you everything you need to know. That's all I'm looking at it from 5 years from now. You should have to dial back and just let us now take it over and do all the stuff for the community.
Exactly. So, and with that being said, there are a few things that OCYC is working collectively on. One of the things that Ruth Ann's going to talk about it is our community needs survey assessment. She's going to talk a little bit about that. Another thing that we're doing is we are taking the lead. Overtown as a whole is taking the lead for Miami-Dade County to go after the Promised Neighborhood Grant, which is a 5-year grant through the Department of Education that will allow us to truly build out a solid and firm cradle to career model that would start here in Overtown, but also would be duplicated across other communities.
Our community members, so we are asking everybody in this room, you know somebody that lives, works, gets programming in Overtown, we are asking you, the partners, to help us get this out. Okay?
Do you have an extra copy?
Yeah, you can have this one. They're all here on the tables. Actually, Shakira printed a whole bunch of copies for everybody to take with you.
And we can email it out to you.
And we can email it out to you.
But we also we need for you all to fill it out also. We want you all to fill it out, and we can receive your feedback also on where we are and what's going on also. And then we need everyone to make sure they sign in. This QR code allows you to sign in, so if you haven't signed in.
Was that online yesterday? I think I signed in online.
Okay.
Is it the same?
Is it the same as on the Eventbrite?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I did it on the Eventbrite.
Say it again?
Is this different from signing in downstairs?
Yeah, different. Yes, yeah, that's for us. Yeah. Okay.
Is anyone else? I gave you
Yeah, we got some more copies of
We
those.
have so many copies. Just make sure you take one with you.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, once again. I need to go to across the street to the meeting, but you all continue. If y'all want to continue conversation, y'all please do. But we'll be reaching out to everyone to talk. And please go through the master plan. If you have any questions or thoughts about the master plan, please call us and let us know what you have.